Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Hi, Ira.
Hey, hey everybody.
Hi, Marlene.
Hey, hello. Are we enough people?
I think so, because we're 7 total and we're 4 here.
Is four a quorum?
Yep.
Oh, it is. Okay. I wondered.
So the only thing is on the first agenda item, I don't know if I ever got the minutes from July 12th. I think Diana took the minutes. Is that right?
Yes. Let me. I remember getting them. Let me.
I probably got them, but then I just went to look for them to try to put them in the Google Drive that you created, Ira, but I couldn't find them in my email.
Let me see. I am just going through notes.
Okay.
I had a few things to address too whenever we are moving on from minutes. If that's okay, Lori.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe do you want to bring it up now, Sarah, and we'll let
Sure.
Ira look. Is that okay, Ira, if we let you look through your inbox? And
Yeah,
can
that's
you
fine.
multitask? Is it okay? Like, I mean,
I can.
I don't do well multitasking, so I'm not being funny. I'm
Yeah, I can listen and
So
okay.
and look.
there were a few things I was poking around in the Mass Cultural Council, our own site, I guess, page, whatever, in the Smart Simple. And we have to update some things that aren't in there. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to delegate that. Like, for example, in our council profile, we only have 5 members listed: Kathleen, Ira, Diana, Stephanie, and me.
We don't have me.
No, and neither do we have Lori. So though you're both missing from that on the official Mass Cultural Council site. And then there's a bunch of just sections to fill out. Like they ask when we did our priorities survey, what the results were. Like there's all kinds of stuff to fill out on here that we haven't done. And I didn't even know that this needed to be tackled. So I'm assuming other people didn't either.
Yeah,
Well-
that guidelines and that guidelines and priorities has to be done by Wednesday, the 31st of August.
So that's part of this form. It's literally a form that you're like click and fill out.
Okay.
And I had a little bit of trouble getting to it, but I finally did. And so I just wanted to like make sure that you guys know that I know how to get to it. I don't know if you wanted me to fill it out, but I definitely would need help with council priorities. And I don't know how to add members other than they ask whether this member list is up to date and correct, and I would answer no and then submit. So
I saw a little training that was like how to add new add and subtract. Yeah, on the page I took a note on that because I knew we were gonna be there. Now
Can I back this up a teeny bit before we get into these specifics? Because I'm your newest member. I read and really reviewed and read the Mass, Cultural Council guidelines that you sent to us. Very, very helpful, Lori. But I mean, and they kept talking about, this website and all. I didn't know if I had access to it, if I could get to it, the Start Simple or whatever it's called. I did go to I went on their site, I went to us, but I didn't see very much about us except last year's people that we funded, but I don't know if only certain people have permission. So before we specifically, I mean, are we all specifically supposed to be doing this? Or I know there are things we have to update. Okay, that was my only backup.
I'm happy to answer if you want, Lori. This is a new system, Marlena. It's new as of last year, the Smart Simple system. So they're still training and working out the kinks and explaining to people how to use it. We do have access, but you need to set up your own account. So if you have ever received a Mass Cultural Council grant, you would need to use a different email address as a grant receiver than from a council member. So if you haven't, you just set up an account in Smart Simple. It is really difficult to find the Smart Simple account from the Mass Cultural Council site. I almost always go to it from the emails they send out. So they sent
Okay.
out us a group email. Let me look at it.
Is it necessary that each of us be able to specifically go
Yes.
to this site? It is necessary
Yes.
that each of us can do that.
Yes.
Or,
Maybe you won't be using it this year, like if you aren't filling out any of these forms, but it is really helpful to have because you must have it as soon as we get all the grant applications in between
okay.
September and October, because that's how we access it. That's how you see what the grant proposals are.
Okay,
And that's how you read through them. So you do need to set up an account at least by then. I mean, but why not now?
okay, so we need to guide me to where I go to set it up then.
So did
Because I
you
sure
get,
didn't see anything on their big site.
no, it's hard to find from the big site, but we all received an email on August 25th from Mass Cultural Council, no reply. And the subject title is Wakefield Arts Council fiscal year 23 allocation.
And I didn't get it, but that I don't exist as far as they're concerned.
Okay.
I got nothing from them.
I can forward this to you.
Okay,
If you give me your email address, and that gives you like directions on how to log into the system if you don't have an
Okay.
account, how to set one.
my email address is on the, the email that Laurie sent out to all of us. I'm on there.
Okay, I will forward that to you.
You could, that would be good. Now I'll set myself up on that because I wondered how we got the grants. Oh, there's so much. I have questions written down about a lot of this, but why don't I let you go back to what you were asking, Sarah, that we have to fill out by, and I know we have to do things by August 31st. I made a note of that.
So yeah, so that was just my question, Lori, was who is filling this out? Because I opened it up and I was like, oh, I can answer some of these things, but not all of them. And
I know, and you know what, you guys, we're killing the game tonight. I mean, like, look at it, 7:07, and we've already got a lot done. And I think
Yeah.
just the fact that Sarah's been in it and is like ready to go, I
Hi,
say like,
Marlena, I'm Sarah.
kill the game.
Yeah,
I don't know that I've
Yeah.
virtually met you before. Is it Marlena or Marlene?
Marlene.
Marlene, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I did meet you. I've only been to one meeting. I've only been on this since like this year. I've been to one meeting, and one meeting in which I had some problems because my internet kept freezing and then I couldn't get back on. It was ridiculous. I've now fixed that, but
You want to
That
do
was it.
introductions? You want to tell me a little bit about yourself and I'll do the same?
sure, okay. I live in Wakefield, but maybe that's obvious. I live in Wakefield. I'm new to Wakefield. I live here because my daughter bought a house here a couple of years ago. I'm looking for varying ways to get to know the town. I have a background. I did a lot of consulting work and coaching with the Boston Public Schools, part of which was supporting school leaders in grant applications. I know, and I have done a fair amount of development myself. Though I'm hugely relieved I will have nothing in the way of an application to actually write, but I've reviewed grants in varying capacities, and I've supported people in writing good grants. So, I'm familiar with grant applications. In terms of the arts, I am one of the, here we go, this is my claim to fame, among others. I'm one of the oldest graduates of the Improv Boston Comedy School, which I'm stupidly proud of. I graduated a couple of years ago, right before COVID, actually, and came out of it when it was still a very robust, long program with 7 levels of improv, and I took stand-up and all of that. I had these ideas that I was going to do something with storytelling, a la, The Moth or something like that, but funny storytelling. And then COVID hit, and then places to go and do open mics weren't close. And then I moved to Wakefield, and I'm not going to go dragging myself into Cambridge to do open mics, truthfully. Plus, like, the desire has sort of left after 3 years. So I just tell funny stories to myself or to neighbors. I have a neighbor I walk the lake with, and I say all these very funny things to her. But, but I do consider myself actually a performer of such, or a storyteller. And I don't know, that's it for now. How's that, Sarah?
Great.
Right, now
Thank you. I've lived here 20 years and I still feel like a newcomer, but I think I'm actually like the veteran Wakefielder on this group now that some of the other members have left, which is really odd for me since I have 3 kids and so many of the parents of my kids have just grew up in Wakefield and live. Well, Lori, you're more a Wakefielder, but I have lived here 20 years in a row. And
That's very strange when people keep saying, oh, I've only lived here 20 years. And I'm thinking, I've never lived anywhere 20 years. I'm a bit of a wanderer. I like living different places. So.
But I have a lot of experience in different ways with the Mass Cultural Council. I'm a boot maker with a T, boot maker. So I am part of the traditional arts apprenticeship program with them. I had an apprentice through them, and I am also a finalist in their apprenticeship fellows. And I have done these type of LCC grants in other towns for many years. So I'm on the other end of the application process from other towns, that I actually see how different it is from town to town, like the level of response and what they were, give you in order to get your reimbursements or direct grants or whatever. And then I've been 4 years with this group, reviewing the grants and stuff and passing them out. So I don't know, like I said, I have 3 kids. I have my boot making studio at the backyard of our property, and I went to RISD, so I'm very art involved in the RISD alumni group of Boston. And
you make boots.
And I make boots.
BOOTS.
Yes, and art made with
art made with
1800s level handmade craft skills.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you exhibit them?
Yeah, I have a pair at Crystal Bridges Museum American Art right now in Arkansas, and some more going to the Center of Culture and Design at Wisconsin soon, but nothing local now. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Nice to meet you on Zoom.
You too.
That's so strange.
So Ira, did you find the minutes?
I did find the minutes. Stephanie sent them to myself and Lori.
Oh, it was Stephanie who took the notes, not Diana.
Yeah, Diane is
That's where I
the
went
treasurer, as I now recall. With Stephanie being the
secretary.
Secretary. I don't know.
Is that true this year, or that
but
was true? Because I
That's gonna be
asked
for this year.
I asked, do we have a treasurer and a secretary? That was one of my questions. So Stephanie is our
secretary.
Okay, I don't even know if I know who she is.
And Lori is our chair, right?
That I know. Laurie and Ira are co-chairs.
Yes,
Co-chairs.
Ira and I are
That's
co-chairs.
right.
Equally co-chairs.
And who did you say our treasurer was?
Stephanie.
Diane.
I'm sorry, Diana.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then Marlene, I think I was poking around on the Mass Cultural Council site. My guess is that probably we'll have to reach out to our Mass Cultural Council contact, Caroline, and have, because you can sign up to be a grant recipient, but I think in terms of being a Cultural Council member for Wakefield, I think she would probably need to set you up with an account. That's my guess. So I would say, like, I'll send out an email, tonight
her
or
info
tomorrow.
is on that email that I'll forward.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She lives in Lynn. She's lovely. I know.
And she will reach out to me, or I need to reach out to her and tell her I'm a new member on the local council. What do I do? Where, do you set me up? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so Sarah, probably the next thing is our guidelines, right? That's what they're called.
Should we vote to approve the
Priorities.
minutes from July 12th?
Yeah, I suppose
Sure.
need to be sent out, because I can pull them up, but you all have not seen them.
Do they say anything that would be upsetting to any of us? If not, why don't we,
hold on, I can share my screen in a second here.
Okay.
I didn't have any edits for what it's worth, but Are you the host, Lori?
Yeah.
Okay. It says,
Do I have to give,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I put the host key in and then I put the closed captioning on. I followed her instructions. And now let me figure out how to do this. Share screen, do I say okay for other people? Multiple participants can share.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yep. Looks like it did.
Okay.
Let me just get this the right screen up. 1 second. Oh, no. It's not letting me share that screen.
Is it me? Is it something I didn't do? Hold on.
No, I don't think so, Lori. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So I just wanted to share the one screen and not everything that I'm looking at. So let me just, okay, my alternate is this. 1 sec.
That's Wakefield, by the way. I got it
What?
on Safari.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's from like the late 1800s.
That you just pointed to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I can't see it that good, but, oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's a lot.
I can make it a little bit bigger here.
Can I ask questions?
Sure.
Did we hear anything back from the farmer's market on this?
Yes, we did. And we can do it and we don't even need a tent. And she seemed lovely, the lady who runs it. So it's really in our court if we want to pick a weekend and one or two of us go down and do it.
That is crazy because another organization I'm part of, I filled out their application. I resubmitted it. I called and I've yet to hear from this lovely lady at the farmer's market.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
It's a grassroots, but it's known around Wakefield. And that's what I thought you had to do to get a table for this
Well,
organization.
they come on strong on their website. Like I went in real timid, like, well, we don't have a tent and we may not have a table, and we still do need a table though. I don't know if anybody has a folding table. That would be something we.
I'm just amazed that they were lovely and got back to us.
Yeah, she said at the end, it was only a couple of sentences, but she said, we'd love to host you. That was her.
I wonder if it's because we are an official town.
Well, any
Yeah.
nonprofit can have a table.
Oh, I know that, but I wonder if she was just more accommodating to an official town group versus a grassroots group that
Well,
isn't
it's
an official
also,
town group.
so it's Anne Marie Gallivan. Is that who you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gallivan.
she used to have a studio and a store on Albion Street. She's very involved in arts and communal stuff. And
Is it Create? Was it Create, that one?
Interesting. You know, that wasn't the name. I just called a general number at the bottom of the website. I wonder even who it went to. You know what? Whatever is my feeling about it, but I just found it interesting.
Anything, well, do we feel like we can vote on these?
I think, yeah, so I move to approve.
Yep.
Second, okay. Oh,
Second.
who's taking the notes tonight? Should I do it?
Sorry, I
What?
just started taking notes.
You did, okay.
Yes.
Look at us, we're killing the game.
You're so happy, Lori.
I know.
All All right.
Really are.
I, having not been there at that meeting, can I vote to approve them or not? Because since I wasn't
I
there.
think so. Is that a rule that
Yeah.
you, it's gotta be that you can do it? Because it's a continuum of a year.
Right.
And so not everybody's gonna be, I mean, you're looking at something for the first time and if you approve it, you approve it. And you're part of this meeting where that action gets done.
Okay.
But what
well,
do I know?
If I can, I vote to approve them.
Okay,
And where do we put, do we have a, where do we put minutes and all that? Is it all,
so Ira made a Google Doc
oh, okay.
portal,
Or a Google Doc or
a Google Docs portal.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I created a Drive folder and have been saving things in there. I can share that with you, Marlene, as well.
yeah, because I haven't, yeah, that would be good, because I'd love to see things that you're putting in there. Okay, please do.
Okay, hold on. Just give me 1 minute to catch up on
Wow.
notes here. Okay. Probably missed some details, but I got the broad strokes. All right. What's next, Lori?
Discuss Mass Cultural Council guidelines and priorities due August 31st. So you know what, is it even a thing that we let it ride from last year when we did have a meeting about our priorities and guidelines and we did edit them last year? Can we reuse those again this year?
Yes, you can use them for 3 years. You have to do it every 3
Okay.
years. So when we did it last year, it was because we needed to, because we had done the paper copy
Oh.
3 years ago.
I
And-
like the sound of that. Okay.
So we can do the same ones. Can I see them?
but
Oh,
we
when I
need-
get
we
on.
need to put them into the Smart Simple system. That's
You
what we
still
need.
have to rewrite them. Have to
Ah.
copy them and put them in. Okay.
We have them. I don't know what we have them on. I don't remember. Do we have them on a Google Doc? Do we have them in?
Well, okay, I
Are they in
think
the folder?
I don't know that I have access to this Google
Okay.
Doc Drive either.
Let
I'm
me-
happy to put them in since I have gotten into the impossible system.
I haven't.
I
yet.
can tell you right now, it's a small form. It says community input date. So we would have to put last year's date. And then council priorities is a section. Council guidelines is a section. And then it says, does your council make direct grants or reimbursement grants? So I would put reimbursement. We
Is
need
that
to
what we
add,
do? We do reimbursement, not, why? I've read about both of them. Any
Yeah.
reason or
Um,
easier?
it's how we've always done it. They only started offering direct grants last year, I believe. It might have been 2 years
Okay.
ago, but I think it's last year. I don't have any experience in any town with direct grants yet.
And does everything go, while we're on this, does everything go through the town treasurer? So we don't have a bank account, is that correct?
Right, we can
So-
request the bank. I don't know why I keep answering this. You two answer.
So we go through the town treasurer for all of this. So when grants are submitting the
Yes.
form for reimbursement, and the fundees, then that we forward it on, or they send it to the town, or we have to approve it.
So-
I remember reading all of this in there. Okay.
Yeah, like I can give you a quick rundown, Marlene. There's a lot more detail, but it's not overly complicated. But the long and the short of it is that the grant recipients will send us some forms. One is the Mass Cultural Council form, kind of details what they got, what they used it for, that sort of thing. They'll send us receipts of any expenses, and then they'll send us essentially like proof, which can be anything from like a newsletter or a picture of the tickets or kind of whatever. And they'll send that to us, and then we have to do a little bit of paperwork on our end, collect it all together and send it to the town. And Lori and Diana and myself just got training on that this week.
Okay. And grant recipients, do they ask for reimbursement on a periodic basis or reimbursement for the entire thing? Because I mean, I did look at last year's people that were funded.
one.
Some people got $1,200, some people got $288. So
Yeah.
are they coming to the dole to be reimbursed all the time? or is it at
Just-
one time?
Just one time.
Good, that's
So
much more.
20, we awarded 22 grants
Yep.
last grant cycle. So we would have 22 recipients, paperwork. 2 people were not able to fund their program. So they did not end up using the money. So we'll have 20.
We'll have 20, okay.
I could just say from the other point of view, I have on the form, it says partial payment or full payment. And I had received funding for 2 different events over the course of a year. And then I filed for partial payment after the first one because I needed money
Okay.
and never had a reply. And then when I eventually did get, this was with Stoneham, but I eventually did get the second part of the program finished and sent in the full reimbursement, and then found out that you only apply for partial reimbursement if it's because you didn't complete your whole thing, not because you only did half of it. So this was not clear in anything. And I didn't know if we ever do a public training for people interested in applying, which is something we could do, like say at the library or something, that's something that I would make clear, because as an applicant and somebody who has sat on this group for 4 years, that was not clear to me. And now is.
All right, since you were an applicant, and I can ask, this was another question I had as we proceed through this. How long, is there a page limit? I'm so used to grants that specify font size, page limits, all of this. Is there a page limit? I saw nothing on the application. I looked at the sample application.
It's an online form that's
Right.
also now through Smart Simple. And when you go to each box, there's a character and word.
Ah, it's a character and word thing. Okay, they just showed a sample with questions, which
Yeah.
of course maybe, so it's characters or is it words or characters?
I don't remember. It's one or the other, but it's not very long for each question, but it ends up being like 10 pages, but half the pages are like full, like the answers are probably only 1 or 2 paragraphs. They're not very long.
Okay, I wondered about, length of, in terms of the review process.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
they're
when-
not very long.
Okay, when I used to do grants that had character or word in little boxes would make me insane. I much prefer a narrative,
Yeah.
even if I'm told I could submit no more than 4 double-spaced pages, I still prefer a narrative than, here's the box, fit your
I
answer
can
in.
also email you one of mine so you can see. I print, like, save a PDF of my.
Oh, I'd love to.
And
I
I
just
always
thought I'd like to see.
I max out the characters and words. So
Oh, I
could,
would always do that.
if you just, if you're interested in that, then you
I'm
can see
interested.
how long they are.
Okay, sure. Since, same email address. Thank you. Okay,
Now,
So-
Back to the question, who,
yeah, the guidelines of
wants-
her,
do you want me to fill out those?
yeah,
those
would you, but
boxes?
let's figure out what they are. Like, I went to our page on the Mass Cultural Council and it says, and I thought this might be the verbiage that is our guidelines and priorities, but now that I'm reading it, I don't think it is, but let me read it. The Wakefield Arts Council supports public programs to promote access, education, diversity, and excellence in the arts, humanities, and interpretive sciences. The council works closely with the Massachusetts Cultural Council to provide grant money to support these efforts. Is that verbiage our guidelines and priorities?
that's actually what's on the town website about us.
I
Okay.
don't know.
No.
I
It
don't
is
think
not
it is,
our,
because before,
No.
I don't
Okay.
know what
Definitely.
we had this year or last year's from I don't remember, but the first one, it said like we support programs that touch all ages, that are, reinforce diversity. It was direct feedback from the survey that we sent out.
okay, so that wasn't our verbiage, okay.
Yeah. Let me,
But if you look at
I
the
thought-
description of us on the town website, that's about the verbiage that you were just reading.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. I thought that, that we had a
Carolyn
copy
sent
of
it?
them, but, yeah, I'm digging back further now in
Okay.
my email to see if, might have it. Shoot, just instructions.
So again, I'm happy to plug all that into the official form, but I just need whatever you're looking for, Ira. in
yeah,
order-
you need the
wanna, like,
words.
email it to me, then I could.
Yeah. I can also, I have a place that I was saving Arts Council documents. So let me just check That
Oh,
would
I
be the
just
other.
have
Sarah, will you be putting us in or will,
So when I
That-
sign in, when any of us sign in, we would all get to this same fiscal year 23 council
Mhm.
profile LCC cycle, and somebody has to just save a draft and submit it. Nobody has
Okay.
done that yet. So
but
once
but
I
a
do it,
list, a
we'll
list of
done.
members? Are you gonna add our names or is my name,
I don't know what will happen when I hit no, but I don't want to do that yet since I
Oh, okay,
haven't answered the
understood.
questions above yet.
Okay, because it may be up to, I can email that woman in Lynn tomorrow and, you know, and get access and all of that, so. So we're about to hit we need to promote this so people can apply. Busy season if they've got to have submitted by October 17th.
It doesn't open until September,
Oh,
can't-
okay.
they can't
But that's
apply yet.
still,
but it's
This
close.
week?
It's close. That's why Lori said we had that August 31st date. Here it says additional LCC members can register from the following registration page, which has a hyperlink. So it does look like Lori and Marlene, you both need to use that registration page.
Okay,
but I gotta get access to do it, so I have to get in
No,
touch with.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. See what happens when do we have a chat?
oh, let's see.
No, we
Um,
don't seem to. We haven't raised hands, we have
Oh, I know on Teams they give you a chat. What's down here in this little 3-button thing? No, maybe there's no chat. How funny.
yeah, that is funny.
Interesting. I guess I will email it to you to see what happens
Okay,
when you open that link.
Participants? No. Hmm, okay. Maybe in breakout rooms? No, I don't want to mess with that. Okay.
yeah, because then we'll all be in 4 different rooms.
I know. He's like, hello.
All
I'm
right,
going back
I
to
just
look.
emailed it to both of you, so.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna
Thank you.
do that. Register.
See
I'm
what
looking too from Caroline Lieber to see if I can find the verbiage that we had last year. Because we had a meeting about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
thinking
we
about-
did. So it was, the meeting was on August 26th. So actually not
Isn't that
too
funny?
off the mark. Yeah.
Wow.
So I have only a partial list. I have 4 from the meeting notes. There are 4 that were added, and those are the ones that I have. I don't have the existing ones. Shoot.
Well, you don't need to dig them up while we're having this meeting, Ira. If we just
Yeah.
want to say, if you find them and send them to me, forms, then we could move on.
Okay. Probably Caroline will. We may have to reach out to her because it seems like mind-boggling to me that the system doesn't save what you had from last year, but that does seem to be the case. as
It's
near
because
as I
it's
can
new.
figure.
It's a new system since we did that.
Okay.
I know they've had a lot, they've had a lot of issues
Yeah.
transferring and getting things over, just from experience. I've known that. But hopefully it doesn't happen next time. Then it would be mind-boggling if it does.
Oh yes.
Got him?
Yep. I got them. They were saved from last year. So let me share this.
I will be back. 1 second. Just have to
Okay.
Turn off my air conditioning. It's cold.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, you know why? It's because you're in fiscal year 22 tab. So I suppose I could just cut and paste from one tab to the other.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I have 23 open. Let me see what happens when I go before we all leave each other.
Can you see these, Marlene?
What?
These are our priorities that I have
Okay.
highlighted in text here. These are
Okay.
the ones. So what we did last year was we sent out a survey. We had a paper version and a survey, digital version. We got back 35-ish responses.
Who did we send them to, Ira?
You only had to be a Wakefield resident, so we actually don't. It was anonymous. We don't actually know.
But how many did we send out that we got 30 back?
They were
So-
publicly posted all
Oh,
over.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
didn't send it to individuals. We
Ah.
used. I think we used.
Okay.
Library,
Facebook.
wasn't it?
Paper, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So based on those results, or on the respondents, we created these. So
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll just cut and paste then from the 22 year.
okay, sounds good.
Now,
Sarah.
are these, there's no differentiation between priorities and guidelines. These are the priorities and guidelines all taken
Yeah.
together.
Oh, so
Is that
these are
right?
both.
Oh, wait,
Oh, all
so-
right.
No,
So
under guidelines, it says procedures
Yeah.
only online applications will be accepted.
Okay, and that's
Yeah.
the only verbiage for that part?
Yes.
Only
That's
on,
it.
the okay, okay. Yay, Ira, you're killing the
And then
game.
where does it say that we do reimbursement?
Right
It says
below that.
reimbursement grants.
Yeah.
Do we, where it says only online applications will be accepted, do we also want to say that applications must be submitted by the deadline, no late applications will be accepted, or do we just want to say only online?
We have to say only online according to those guidelines we
Yeah.
got.
Oh, fine,
Well,
okay, fine with me.
Yeah, it would be literally impossible for them to submit them online outside of the time frame.
Okay, fine. So you can't really submit late.
Right.
It closes, all right. Okay,
All right, so we're
Yep.
good on that.
We're
Yep.
good on that. And
Okay.
you're all okay with me filling that out?
yep, oh God, yes, thank you.
More
I
than
don't
okay.
know you, but thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
But then I
Okay.
can't register the two of you that aren't registered. That's the only thing I can't do. So.
Okay,
Well,
I will
I
see
will
about
take
how
to
I
the-
register. I will try to
Yeah.
do that. In the
We'll try
next,
to do that on our own
and I'll
individual.
try to do it before the 31st, okay?
Great.
I'll email that woman tomorrow and tell her, say that, this has to be by the 31st. Okay,
Great. Knocking them out. All right. What's next, Lori?
Farmers Market revisited.
Farmers market. Yeah.
I have not been to the Wakefield Farmers Market yet this year. I'm embarrassed to admit it. I've been to my one up in my White Mountains place town, which is on Thursday afternoons, and it's beautiful. And I had the best strawberries I've ever had in my life, but that's all an
It's
aside.
different.
I have, does anybody want to do it? The tabling? I don't want to commit to a Saturday and then not be here because I have such a fluid calendar coming up.
I've got some things on Saturdays in September. I mean, I have tabled around town for this other group I'm involved with. And I don't mind tabling, but there are a couple of Saturdays in September, and I would think that if we're going to table, I guess my question is, why are we tabling? And if we're tabling to promote the application process, do we have anything, are we going to have flyers? What exactly are we doing? Or are we just going to sit there and say, Wakefield Arts Council, come talk to us? What is it exactly that we're doing? I would assume that we're promoting people.
Sarah,
to
you did
apply.
it once, right?
Tabling
I did it for the survey, not for the actual.
Oh,
grant.
you did it for the survey, right?
Mhm.
But I agree with Marlene. I think that we should plan this farther in advance than
Okay.
end of August. So if anything, we should talk about it at upcoming meetings for doing next year so that
Yeah.
we are either helping people
Right.
go through the grant process, explain what they need to do, because every year we do get those 3 or 4 grants from the same people who don't fill the requirements, and we don't give them grants because they don't have a set date, they don't have a sponsoring body, they don't have, whatever it is. And I feel
Mhm.
like that's the kind of stuff we should be talking about at the farmers market when you're talking to people. It's like, yes, the Wakefield Arts Council is out there, but also if you want to apply for a grant, please do it. And this is what you need to know.
Right.
We will tell you what you need to do.
Okay, and here's what I was wondering. I mean, how are we promoting the fact that on September 1st, the grant portal opens, there are these grants available? How do we promote that? Or are those that
We-
know, and the same people that keep getting money know, or they have different ideas each year? How does it get promoted into the community? Where is it
Facebook community
publicized?
pages. Facebook community pages is our main
Really?
way
Okay.
of getting in touch with people. And
We
then
have-
the same groups apply every year.
I would assume so.
School, the schools, the senior center,
The
the
Boys and Girls
library,
Club.
library, yeah. But also
Yeah.
we promote on the Facebook page and the
Okay.
community groups, not our Facebook page. We do
But
both.
on Wakefield for Wakefield residents and on the Wakefield Community Group?
Yeah.
Now, to apply to this, one does not have to be a Wakefield resident, yes, no, or do they?
Correct.
Nope.
No,
The programming has to happen in Wakefield, but
Yeah.
you don't have to
Okay.
be a resident.
And so do we have anything like flyers or anything that we put up at the library, or do we hold information sessions? We do none of that. Do we
No.
need to hold information sessions?
We held an information session once at the library. I want to say it was my first or second year, and no one came. So we sat there for like 45 minutes before we decided.
All righty, I gotcha. Yeah, that can be discouraging. Okay,
All right, so
So-
let's say
And we
farmer's
sent-
market 2023.
Yeah, I mean, I really, Marlene's points are valid, and having, the experience of sending out, when we did the survey the last time, I printed some like 500 copies and sent them out. We put it in the newspaper. We got one from the newspaper. We got two from the 500 copies.
all
that we
right.
got. That's
I
the
mean-
kind of engagement we've had so far. So either we're doing it
Mm-hmm.
wrong, or we got 30 replies this time on a town of 25,000. So
And out of the 21 or 22 applications that we funded, how many did we actually receive?
27 maybe, or 28.
Oh, so we're
There were
funding,
like 3 or 4 that we said no to, I believe.
and those are the same
Mm.
3 or 4 that come back each year.
2 definitely are. I don't remember this past year
Okay.
whether they all
So
were.
that's a pretty high ratio of funding.
Mhm.
But so many of them were little. I mean, I added them all up just out of curiosity. It
We
came
had
to
discussions on what
$12,603. I was just wondering about what we
we
had
have
to be,
13,005 this year, plus whatever
Okay.
rolls over from last year.
and it rolls back
Yeah.
into the town treasurer. It's not like it rolls over to us.
No, it does. Doesn't
no,
it?
it does. Yeah.
All right, but
Yeah.
it does for
It-
what purpose?
For next year's
To
grant.
award
The
for
next
next year.
year.
Yep.
So if we got 13,000 again and we have 1,500 left over, we would have 14,500.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay. All right. And do we need, or I mean, and maybe this is the same thing with the info session. I mean, do we need to hold workshops for people, or are the people that are applying year after year pretty conversant in how to do what they do? It's not a difficult application, you
Yeah.
know, in reading the questions.
The
Right.
ones who come back every year know how to do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Except for those couple, but they're also like the 2 or 3, if they reapply this year, you'll see they like are clearly are sending the same application to many municipalities that don't have an actual connection to Wakefield.
oh, okay,
And I wonder if some of the municipalities don't hold them to having a venue to support
okay,
like that kind of stuff.
okay. So we're not doing this year's farmer's market.
Right,
Okay.
so we'll put that'll be a topic that we'll revisit again in the spring of 2023.
And it'll give
And-
us time to borrow a table or do whatever. Sitting out there, I'll tell you something, sitting there in the sun without a tent is not comfortable. Because I did,
They'll lend a
Table.
tent. They will lend.
Yeah,
a-
they said they would lend
they
us a tent.
would,
Yeah,
And I could, I could
I'm
borrow one too.
impressed.
So,
All right, because I just
Yeah.
did the Living Well Fair or whatever it was a couple of weeks ago, again through the chamber, but for the same group I'm involved with, which is, by the way, Safe Streets Wakefield. I could do my 2-minute promo. But anyway, I did a table and it was bright sun. I didn't have a tent I could use. It was pretty, it got bad after a while, and that was one of the better Saturdays, not a brutal one. But if they give us a tent, how nice. I'll
Okay.
table next year under a tent.
so
I'm an
we'll do
experienced
we'll do
tabler.
next year. We'll try maybe July or early
Yeah.
August or something.
We talked about getting a
Next year.
banner too and still don't have it. So I
Yeah,
feel
that's-
like we should
that's
have
my
all these
fault.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you
Yeah.
at all, but
Yeah.
I'm saying like for us to sit, like choose a date now for the fall to do it without a plan, without a banner, without, I just
And
feel
you
like,
say banner like a table cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we have. We have a
Yeah.
table cover. They're not very expensive either,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Do we
And
have
maybe-
money we can spend on that? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually, so we can decide, so for some of the money that gets awarded, we can set aside some for things like you're talking about doing, Marlene, where we could, set aside some money to get copies made, set aside money to
Okay.
get a banner, that,
Okay, that's
maybe
good.
there's like promotion in the newspaper or something like that. So okay, so farmers market will push to next year.
Yeah,
When
when we're more
And-
ready.
more I don't know, cohesive planning. Okay. All right, I'm just doing a time check for quarter of.
Yep, 7:46.
All right, what's the next one, Lori?
Responsibilities and distribution of I guess just an awareness of what needs to be done, and then maybe some distribution loosely of those things. And really, I was thinking about like checking the email and stuff like that. That maybe Ira, you've been checking it pretty regularly. Is that right?
Pretty regularly is maybe giving me too much credit, but
All right. But if
every
you want to
week
like,
or every other week.
spread that around, or, that's just one thing that I think maybe right now we'll just throw things up and then we'll think about them and talk about them for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Getting meetings. I like interacting with Sherry and and sending the agenda and doing that. So I'd be happy to keep doing that. Plus I have it down now, like who I send the postings to 72 hours, because I got my hand slapped. So I learned the hard way. And now I'm like scared to not do it right. So I have that. And then I got this down doing how we do the Zoom and all that. So I'd be happy to keep doing that, unless I'm obviously not going to be able to attend a meeting, and then we'd have to give it to somebody else. What else can you guys think of that's like ongoing responsibilities?
I
Well, if you
post
have-
and share things on our Facebook page,
That's right.
but
That's awesome.
I don't see anything on Instagram. So something, if you, I
Yeah.
think you set that up. If you wanted
Yeah.
to give me access to that, I can just do it to Instagram so that it cross posts to Facebook. If we
Sure.
can
Yeah.
put those up together, but it has been pretty random. I mean, it's really just when grantees share something with us, which is not regular. I do share things like Mass Cultural Council, dates for extra grants, things like that, just for general public, try to keep it
Yeah.
relevant to our context, but I don't post very often. It's but I think I'm the only one posting on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
happy to do that, Sarah. And
Okay.
I would be very appreciative if you could post occasionally.
Sure.
Yeah,
And we get lots
we
of likes. We
definitely-
get constant, I get notifications constantly that we have a new follow, we have a new like on our Facebook page. So people do
Yeah.
look at it, even though they're older posts.
Do we
That's
have
great.
our own Facebook page?
Yes, we
I
have.
have
And,
not, I probably have not gone to it.
and
Shame on
if there's anything significant, like as soon as it opens, I'll post on there that it's open. So, go and apply. And then I would share as myself, I would share the Wakefield Arts Council Facebook posting to the various groups, like the Wakefield Mass community page, those kind of things that have a lot of members. I'm not members in all of them, but I'm members in a few, and they generally get shared from there on.
And the
Okay.
name, what are we, Wakefield Arts Council?
Yeah.
For our Facebook page?
Yep.
Okay. I'll make
The other
sure.
thing I'm thinking about, Lori, is just doing the paperwork from people submitting their expenses and invoices. Obviously, we don't want to do duplicative work on that one. But
I think Diana is interested, although I could be putting
Okay.
words in her mouth, just by, you know, with, of course, help from the rest of the members.
Okay.
But now we'll send, maybe we'll send an email like later in the week when she's feeling better.
Yeah.
And see, but you're right, it's kind of, I can't believe, Caroline Lieber used to do everything
Yeah.
herself.
She did. I was gonna say, I don't even know how it's done. Caroline did all of it and sometimes would show up at my house for a signature, but that's all.
Yeah.
I have
Who
no
is
idea.
Caroline Lieber? Says the
Superhero.
Yeah.
Other than superhero, who is
Superhero.
Caroline Lieber?
She was the
Yeah.
head of the Arts Council for like 6 years or something and did everything and did it so
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And she lives in Wakefield, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's probably born here. No.
No, I don't think she was.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think she's from here, but she's a musician. She's a music teacher. She's
Aha.
like one of the loveliest human beings you could meet.
And she's a superhero.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all I can think of though, in terms of stuff to do until we then do. Well, we'll soon have grant
Lots of
applicants.
reading. Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of reading to do.
Yeah.
And when the applications come in, is there a way, I mean, each of us reads each one, I would assume, yes. Is there a way in which we then yay or nay them? I mean, how does that process work?
So we get a notification from the Mass Cultural Council directly saying the panel books have been posted. That's what they call
That's what it's called, the panel books.
the panel book. So once you have set up your online Smart Simple Access, you go to the panel book through that portal and you read all the applications. And then we generally set a meeting in like December, early December, late November to all of us meet and literally go like one by one.
Yeah.
How much do we
And-
want to fund? Do we want to fund it? We agree ahead of time usually about, do we want to fund a few small ones 100% so that we can say we funded 100%, 20 projects, or do we want to split it equally across all of them? Like those kind of discussions. And then we just go one through one and make the numbers work.
Yeah.
Okay, and the panel books, generally, we will get access to the applications to read sometime, I would assume, end of October.
Yes.
And so then we'd have about a month in which we can read, reflect, whatever, and then we get together and make decisions.
Yeah.
When do they expect to be informed if they've been funded?
Like January 1st, wasn't it?
And
Something
yeah,
like
end
that?
of December, beginning of January.
Okay, what was puzzling to me, truthfully, was a place where I read in the guidelines that said that people could start, they had 18 months so they could start their project or their whatever, say, it was something that started at a school year, even though they weren't sure they were going to be funded? Question mark?
Because one of the or one of the suggestions is that your project would be going on whether or not you got this funding.
Okay,
That's one of the criteria. So like, for instance, the things that I do them in conjunction with historical societies. And if I don't get the funding, the historical society would need to come up with the money. And like, we're going forward whether or not we get this, but
is that a criteria for every single one we fund, that they must go
It's a-
on anyway?
it's a general criteria. And one of the questions is, if you don't get this funding, how are you going to make up for the money? Or if you only get partial. So
Oh, that's
people say
interesting.
things like, I'll have to cut back. I won't have 2 sessions. I'll only have 1. The historical society will need to come up with that and they don't have it. So it's really going to be difficult. Like, you have to say,
Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
All right. Okay, so where was I? Sorry. So I think I'm happy to continue checking the email, which is fine. I'll just kind of highlight things as they come up. I think, well, no, I'm reconsidering that thought. Okay. So nothing else outstanding that we need to figure out who owns. Am I right in that?
I
So
mean, we can keep like that, that's probably good for this, like rounding out this agenda meeting tonight, but maybe we can, you know, we can keep it open and maybe talk about it again
Yeah.
at another meeting. Sounds good.
Okay.
And then,
Yep.
Sarah, of course, if there's something, when you go to upload our priorities and guidelines, reach out by email if there's any, you know, anything you need or anything in these couple of days. I mean, I guess it's by Wednesdays, so it's, you don't have much time to do
No,
it. So
I'll do it today or tomorrow. I mean, it was
thank you
easy
so
enough
much
for me
for,
to- I just
Yes.
didn't, I just wanted the go ahead from everybody else. Somebody had to do it on there. So.
yeah, thank you so much. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
And we thank you, Ira, for finding that verbiage
Sure.
that Sarah needs. And okay, that was it. Just those 4 items for this
Okay.
meeting.
The only other thing I'm thinking about, just because Marlene kind of sparked something, do you think we should do, so Sarah will, you know, post on Facebook and Instagram when the grant cycle begins on September 1st. Is there anything else that we should do to try to get the word out, at least just, you know, that it is officially time? Not sure what we could do. I don't know whether
I mean, do we put something in the, I mean, I don't read it, so I don't know. Do we put something in the patch? Does that exist even? Do we put, you know, do we, I just don't know what we do
Now that
to
you say that,
publicize.
we had publicized in the past before. That was something that Colleen Getty took care of. So I don't know how she did that. She was on the council for 6 years, and she is a writer, and she did
yeah.
do something to contact the patch. I don't know if somebody wants to reach out to her and ask how.
All right, or just reach out to the patch. I mean, how much
Yep.
do we actually have to say? I don't think we
Just that
really
it's
need.
open. It's open
Yeah.
and please apply. Here's a link.
Yeah,
I mean, I get the daily emails. They're starved for content, so I feel like they'd be fine with putting something in there. I don't know. Is that something you feel like you could tackle, Marlene?
sure. I'll reach out to the patch, just reach out to it. I won't reach out to the person that did it.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I could say very much, you know, the same thing we say on social media, and the link would be, where would I get the link to connect them?
It's not up yet. I mean, it goes up on,
So I would, you know what, I'll
that would
wait.
be on the Mass Cultural Council website under the.
Okay, I'm gonna wait, and when I see that you've posted something in social media, I will then see about getting something in the patch the next few days, weeks,
Okay.
whatever, you know, whatever. So that I will then have the link and all of that.
Okay, I just need the sign in for Instagram then from you, Ira.
Yeah, I will send that to you.
So I'll have something in the patch. I'm just trying to think of where else we could publicize. But maybe it isn't necessary. I don't know.
Do people get the item? I don't. Sorry
I
about
don't either.
I don't.
I do, but it's expensive to put in the item.
Yeah, we don't
Oh,
want to
is it?
spend money on this, do we? Doesn't sound.
I don't think, I mean, one of us could write a letter to the item. That's the only way to get something in there that's free, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do we want to do that? Is it, you know, I guess the question is anybody going to be reading letters to the item? I think people tend more to,
Yeah, well, yeah, they do.
they
They
do.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
It's generally more contentious things that get a
I
lot.
was going to say, are they similar?
But they do, but everybody does read the letters that I know of.
Oh.
Anyway,
I mean, I don't get the item. I don't even look at it online. Bad person.
I don't know.
Okay. So we.
I get enough on my plate right now. I don't want to
Yeah.
add and start missing items.
Okay.
But we could ask one of the other members that's not here too. Does anybody want to send a letter to the item? Just
Yeah.
advertising that September.
And I will think of other possible ways to publicize. Like I keep thinking somehow through the library or somehow through,
Mhm.
because the library is sending out, and it's library specific programs, but they're sending out this weekly thing about, this is our anniversary, da-da-da-do. And they do have things in there about things around town. So I'm wondering if they would put in a little thing saying, I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
ask. Let me ask at the library about that, all right? Because
Okay.
I'm also
And I
on
suppose there's
the friends of the library. So let me ask at the library itself. Maybe they would put a little thing in. I don't. So I'll do the
And
patch
there
in
are
the library.
random bulletin boards around town. Probably some more relevant.
There
than
are
others,
random.
but
What are we putting up there if we don't have a flyer?
yeah, we could make a flyer.
Do we want to make a flyer?
I did
All
find out
right.
the hard way that the town is supposed to print things out or photocopy things out for us after doing it and then getting reimbursed and it taking forever and too much paperwork. That was in one of those like long things in the guidelines, is the town is supposed to do that for
Oh.
us. So
I don't
Like the
know.
town administrative assistant would make
yeah,
copies?
somebody there, probably we'd ask Sherry.
Yeah.
So do we want to make a flyer? Or is that where are we going to have posted? Who's going to be? I mean, it's not that it's an event per se where, how like there are flyers about the varying events in those kiosks around town. It's not like it's an event.
No, but here's a window, you have 6 weeks,
Yeah.
apply for funding for an idea you have that's
Mhm.
arts or culture, humanities in Wakefield.
Well,
don't
do we want to?
I don't know. These are all good questions. It's not something we've had the manpower to tackle before,
Yeah.
or woman power.
People power.
People power.
People power. I don't know, if we're getting 27 or 30 grants and we're funding most of them, then do we need to really push hard to publicize to make it more?
We're not fully funding most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, our requests, I just keep track usually of how much is requested. We like one year
Right.
had 11,000 to give out, but we had 23,000 in request. Like it's not even
So
half.
I guess my question is, do we want to kick up more dust and have even more people apply that we partially fund? That's a different question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. Because if the same people come back each year and we know we're partially funding, and then we say, well, okay, let's invite another 20 people to the table, then the partial funding is smaller for everybody.
It's true.
So, I don't know. I'm
It's
just
not
throwing
all
it
the
out
same
as
people. I mean, we do have the same cast of characters, but I don't mean to imply just from having done this for a few years that it's the exact same projects, the exact
no,
same.
I understood.
It's not.
Understood, but still, I guess I'm just asking these questions as, a new person.
Mhm.
Well, for instance, the Boys and Girls Club apply for something every year, but it's never the same project. So
No, I wouldn't think it would be a good idea for it to be the
but
same project.
the library applies for Plaza Jazz every year. So we do know like that's a very popular program and we generally fund it. Sometimes more, some years more than others,
Right.
depending
And,
on what.
Linden Tree.
And Linden Tree.
Yep.
The first year I was on, we did not fund them because they had gotten so many years and so much funding. And then we've now gone back into, partially funding their requests. And it
Yeah.
really depended on how many people and what kind of projects applied for those kind of discussions that we have after reading the panel books.
Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just, I don't know that it would make sense. At this point, again, September 1st is around the corner to, to create flyers, to print, to public, to put on this bulletin board, on that bulletin board, on what bulletin board. Maybe that too is something that we should think about if we want to stir the pot for next year. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
It's good to have
No.
out there.
What?
It's good to have out there.
Yeah.
up until now, we've never had 7 members. We've had 4, and 4 was the minimum, and it was the same 4 of us for several years. And we
Oh,
really,
it says 5 on this.
I
on
know it
Mass
did. It
Culture
says
Con-
5 on the minimum.
Yeah.
so that's gone up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so. Okay.
What do you
well,
do? What do you do if you don't, like, if 2 of us quit? I don't know what would happen to us.
You're
I-
down to 5. That's still okay. You have
Well,
six
3 of
people.
us quit though. We'd be
You're
in trouble.
Are we at
You have
6
to
now?
recruit somebody quickly.
7.
7.
Here we are, 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we miss anything, Lori? It
I think
seems like
we're
we got
good.
into a bunch of good stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I know I need to
8:06, we
go
did good.
make dinner. So.
Oh my gosh, you're eating so late.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
go too. I have dinner coming. So,
Sarah, let
Oh.
us know if there's any problems with filling that stuff out.
okay, I will.
Okay. Thank you,
All right.
everybody. That was so
Thank you.
fun.
Bye.
We got a lot done.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.